Welcome to The Short Score, your weekly update of roping news from around the industry, where you can find the latest on the sport from the pro rodeo ranks to the jackpot world. I'm Taylor Vollen, and I'm your host. Welcome back to another episode of The Short Score, everyone. It's your host, Taylor Vollen. Well, the boys were back. In other words, Tyler Wade and Wesley Thorp won another go-round. T-Wade and Thorp sped things up tonight to win round 5 of the 2024 NFR, their third round win. That $33,687.18 a man has put them $38,000.58 ahead of Dustin and Levi at second place in the world standings. We, of course, got to catch up with them again after their round win in this episode presented by Professional's Choice. Well, it's that time of year again. Are you ready to boot up? Our friends over at Professional's Choice, which is the leader in equine leg protection, want to thank you guys for your support with big savings on all Professional's Choice leg gear from now until the end of December. If you're like us and in Las Vegas for the NFR, you are in luck and you can stop by the Professional's Choice booth, which is booth 3011 at Cowboy Christmas. Or if you aren't here in Vegas, don't worry, you can visit any Professional's Choice retailer in-store or online. Either way, you get to enjoy an instant $20 rebate on all 4 packs of sports medicine boots and $10 off any 2 packs of boots. These savings also include Professional's Choice therapy offerings like ice boots and Theramic combo wraps. Make sure you boot up and protect your equine athletes and save big, all with Professional's Choice.
What did you didn't hate that steer. They were 4-7 on him.
I told you I had the best steer.
Yeah, you told me you had the best steer. What did you love about him when you saw him?
He was just straight and honest, and when you turned him, he just handled normal. Like, he just kind of hung on the end of it and let you just turn him.
Mm-hmm. And in spite of not the ideal situation, he still did that for Wesley, or no?
I think so. I think he might have even been better. I got a really, really good start, and then I skipped it on him, but I threw such a bad loop that my horse just kept running and just kind of turned him normal. And then when he caught up, he shut the run down. When
you skip it on one like that, is there anything you're doing with your fingers, or is it just a hope and a prayer that it goes on, or is there anything you can do to me? You got to take a little bit of it with a grain of salt and then try to fix it at the same time too. The one I missed, he kind of run in stride and I caught his head down and I just sailed it over his head. And I thought I was swinging right to left really well. And then the next night, I'm like, all right, get your tip low so you don't sail it over his head. And then the steer's head was straight in the air and I hit him in the back of it, the perfect loop behind his head. So I'm like, all right. And a buddy of mine, Earl Martin, texted me and said, hey, get it to the right, watch it go on. And I got it to the right really good, but then the steer kind of stepped in his left lead and it kind of made me throw an okay loop. But I think a lot of that you have to just – I'm not going to beat myself up because I did it, because I know if I do, I won't catch the next one. So I just kind of – he was right. I just got it out to the right more and it was a little easier. But most steers have been straight, and that one kind of broke in his left lead, and I think it made it a little bit worse. Does Spur's been working very hard. He had a couple.
Spur's good.
Spur's good.
His hitter's his rider's a little tough sometimes.
Wesley, did you see that one skip on there, or were you watching that at all?
I told myself tonight that
talk
steer.
About it, skip.
Well, it definitely happened.
That steer in the run through we had him and he kind of blew up and hit in the same spot. So my plan was to get wider and further down the pin, because I didn't think he would lead me across the pin because he hit on the end of it. So I wanted to give myself some space. Well, I got a late start, so I was kind of panicked per se, and I didn't really see the head loop hardly at all. I knew, after he caught him, when he turned, but I was trying to get where I needed to be, and I didn't really see the skipper, honestly.
No. Who's helping you in the box to push turbo right where you are?
Ty Harris is just kind of standing in there with me, and he's pretty, he's good in the box and everything. I just wanted to kind of come off the corner a little bit, and it just seems like it's a little more relaxing because he won't, a lot of horses will just have a tendency, if they do get nervous or steer fights shoot, they'll want to back up on you, and it's just good to have somebody there to kind of let them hold their spot, and then you get a flat go from there. But tonight I just was a little bit late, kind of missed the knot. When he nodded, I just didn't get gone quite as fast as I wanted to, and so I felt a little bit panicked, but it still happened to work out.
Cleo told me that he's never figured out really how to practice pantyhosing a steer, but that he thinks Junior can practice pantyhosing a steer. Do you practice that shot at all?
I used to play around on the dummy with it, like just seeing how many times you could do it, or roping a goat with it, or like, using your bottom strand more palm. But like, honestly, I don't put much thought into it because it's really hard for one, and I'm one that tries to rope them more out of the air with my tip, and I don't place my rope as much as some people do. Tonight I did tell myself I wanted to leave it down there longer because the steer had a longer stride, and that probably had something to do with I got more bottom down, but I didn't intentionally try to pull that shot off, and that's usually not really my style. I did have to emphasize on placing my bottom down a little bit more tonight.
And were you scared at all that it was going to pop off the tailhead and take you longer, or were you pretty sure you were getting tight or getting your belly?
It happened to come up really tight and like stayed there really good, and even dallying, it didn't look like it was going to come off. But sometimes if you do catch them out of stride, it will catch the tailhead and shoot off, and it happens so fast that it either makes you longer or you lose the whole steer. But tonight, and he had a really tight, he was on a really tight rope, and so he had a lot of head pressure, and then the steer didn't get, his hops weren't that long. It just happened to go up where it needed to, and it stayed there, and it never really looked like it was going to come off, but sometimes it sure can.
That too, I think the tight rope makes for faster runs, because normally, like, you throw your whole rope at Reno and hanging on him, you can set a record, no problem. But here, like, the tenths matter so much. You need to be on a pretty short rope on both ends to have not one the room, but like the momentum to pull them, because that steer weighs a lot more from 32 foot away than he does at 10 foot away. I mean, so I feel like the closer you can get to him, the more control you have of him, the faster, and it all shapes up better. And that's coming from a reacher that knowing you don't need to get that close, or you don't need to get that far from him.
Yeah. Wesley, you're not the only one who had a big day today. Your friends did pretty well.
Yeah, I had Sean Gray won the 13 finale over there at South Point, and he won, I think, 115 today, but he also won a couple of the other opens. He won like 150,000 just in the past couple of days, so it's been kind of an exciting day for the whole team.
For the gang. Are you looking at this right now? You're looking at the numbers.
Yeah.
What are you looking at what do you see when you look at these?
We're 11 on 3.
Yes, this is true.
No, we're one out of placing in the average. We're 9th right now, but a lot of people have 3 caught. So some of those guys with 4 and 5 caught drop the ball. If we can just keep some momentum and maybe just get something out of it. Drigger, it looks to me like it's Driggers, Dustin. I would say Driggers and Dustin are the main threat to get in there, as far as squeezes 40 grand from us. Driggers is 50-ish, but I don't know. Like the only thing that matters is none of us are in the average. So if some of those guys at the top of the average mess up, that could be big for all of us. Getting an average check for 20 grand at the end of this deal, if we keep catching. And then people like, honestly, Snow in them coming out of nowhere, which I guess they've won 60 grand. They're roping amazing. Like their run looks flawless, and they got all the momentum in the world. And those horses are green but good, so it's almost better. Yeah. They don't try to do too much or not enough. They're going exactly where they put them. So they're making the kind of runs where if they kept ahead of us to get closer in the go rounds, that average would kick our ass.
Yeah.
But it's too close to tell. We're here to rope and make a living.
We have 5 more. We're only halfway.
Halfway.
And
those last 2 felt like it was a long time since I caught them.
That was stressful.
No, it's all good. Clay Smith's got them all caught, and Luke. It's funny, I've been here 7 times. I think Luke was here every time. And he ain't never not had them all caught. That guy is unbelievable at it, too. Mm-hmm. Sometimes he speeds up, sometimes he catches, but I watch him practice. He misses practicing, but he does not miss when the money's up. It don't look like to me. So